Welcome ladies and gentlemen, I am the Ultrawide guy and this is my new YouTube channel, dedicated to bringing you the best in 21:9 content. I saw a lot of other people out there bringing you content for 16:9 monitors, but not a lot out there for people who want to use 21:9 ultrawide. Benchmarks can be a bit lacking and sometimes it's difficult to know what performance you're actually going to get from the information that's out there. So I thought, why not give it a go, make some videos, put some benchmarks up there, and hopefully you guys appreciate the content. And if you do, please subscribe, leave me a like and comment on the videos below. With all that said, let's get into this. I'm running the AMD Ryzen 1700X at 3.95 GHz, 16GB of Corsair Dominator, 3000 MHz DDR4 RAM, the Gigabyte Aorus EX370 Gaming 5 motherboard, a Gigabyte Aorus Extreme GTX 1080 Ti, and the Nvidia driver 418.91. Next up, we're going to be taking a look at the graphic settings I'll be using for these benchmarks. I'll be running the presets low, medium, high, ultra and extreme. Motion blur will be set to low, tessellation will be on, hairworks will be on, EF will be set to 16x and the shading rate set to 1.0. I think this provides the best balance of settings because even at low you still get some great details with the tessellation and the hairworks on. It doesn't provide too much of a performance hit. You're looking at maybe about 3 to 6% for hairworks and probably about the same, between 5 and 10% for tessellation, but they really do make a big difference, so I would really advise leaving these enabled if you've got the GPU horsepower to do so. Next up, some benchmarks. First of all, we're looking at DX11 versus DX12 at high settings. You're looking at 2560x1080 and 3440x1440. As you can see from the graphic on the screen, we're looking at around 72.33 frames per second for DX11 at 2560, and at DX12 we're looking at 70.67. At 1340x1440p resolution you're looking at 56 frames per second for both DX11 and DX12, so just by looking at the graphic on the screen you can see there's not a lot to choose between the two APIs. I would say just go whichever one your operating system supports, and yeah, that's pretty much it. One thing perhaps to note is that DX11 did have a slightly higher CPU overhead when I ran my tests, which if you are multitasking may come into play, but they're both much of a muchness and shouldn't make too much difference whether you choose either 11 or 12. Now we're going to be taking a look at the game's built-in benchmark using DX12 at 2560x1080p resolutions and 3440x1440p resolution. First up, 2560x1080, you can see that the low settings comes in at 89, medium at 84, high at 70.67, ultra at 60.67 and extreme at 48.33 frames per second. Next we're going to be taking a look at the 3440x1440p results, again using DX12. As you can see by the graphic on screen, low comes in at 75 frames per second, medium at 66.67, high at 56, ultra at 48 and extreme at 39.33 frames per second. The final set of benchmarks that we're going to be taking a look at today are all in-game benchmarks, taken from a 60-second run towards the beginning of the Moscow level. We're going to be running these tests again at DX12, 2560x1080 and 3440x1440p resolutions. Up on screen now you'll see the 2560x1080 results, 111 frames per second for low, medium came in at 97.8, high came in at 93.8, ultra came in at 82, and extreme came in at 67.1 frames per second. Next we have the 1340x1440 in-game benchmark results, again using DX12. We can see low came in at 105.1 frames per second, medium came in at 90.3, high came in at 75.9 frames per second, and ultra came in at 62.4 frames per second. Again, extreme 51.3, bringing up the rear.
We have to get closer. If you get closer, I'll distract them while you rescue the old man.
So there you have it ladies and gentlemen, there are all the results for today. Bit of a mixed bag really. The in-game benchmarks seem to be very demanding, maybe representative of the most demanding scenes in the game. From what I've witnessed so far in the game, I've came nowhere near anything as demanding, which is a bit odd. The benchmark seems to be a bit overkill. It's kind of preparing you for the very worst case scenario. I would probably look at the in-game benchmark as kind of gauge of around about where your performance will be if you go up one setting. So, you know, if you're getting, you know, acceptable results at high, I would advise, you know, moving up to ultra, using the benchmark as kind of a guide baseline to get your initial 60 FPS, and then once you switch over to in-game, like I say, move up that one setting, and that should give you around the 60 FPS performance mark. All in all, Metro, fantastic looking game. Would definitely pick it up if you enjoy your post-apocalyptic shooters. I'm very much enjoying it so far, and that's everything. So remember to like, favourite, comment and subscribe. Please leave any suggestions on anything how to improve the videos below. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this, and this is the first ever video I've recorded and put together. I realise the audio is probably a little bit up and down today, but that's something I'm going to be working on in future. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you in the next one.